Hello Dojo disciples, SeanOrange here with another stuff Vinnk sent me. Today I have a peripheral that I didn't even know about until relatively recently, the ASCII TurboFile. This is an off-cartridge storage device that plugs right in here into the extension port in the Famicom. And I found out about this because when we were working on our data recorder video, there's the data recorder right there. I'll just put that back here. We came upon some references that Castle Excellent supported this peripheral. Unfortunately, we weren't able to independently verify this before we actually shot the video. But while we were editing, I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I was talking to Vinnk, and I was like, hey, if you can find a turbo file for me, I'd really appreciate that. And he was able to, and sent it over to me. So we already shot the data recorder video, and we're putting the finishing touches on it. So we weren't able to include any of this information on that video, but we thought that we would take a look now. So the first thing of note is that the games that support it typically have this TF logo right there. So I have Wizardry 2 and 3, which both have that, and Castle Excellent does not. And when we were investigating the source for the claim why Castle Excellent supported it, what we found were a bunch of websites that all aped the same information, like they all came from the same source. And I don't know if one of those sources was one of those websites, or they just all happened to copy the same one that's no longer available anymore. But I did find reference to an older storage method, or early access version, but I'll get to that in a minute. Let's look at the device itself. Oh. Wow, it doesn't take much of that box at all, does it? All right, there it is. Not very big at all. So like I said, it just plugs right into the extension port right here, which we'll show you in a minute. But it's got this protect switch, so you can't overwrite games unintentionally. There is a light at the top, which only comes on when it's plugged into the system. And it's powered by a couple of AA size batteries there. You take those out, you lose your game save. So this isn't a terribly ideal solution. I'm not sure how long those AA batteries will last. If it's just for storing the save information and not for powering the access, which is what I assume this is for, then it might last a long time. But I don't know. Like probably, like how long do those watch batteries last in those battery backup cartridges, right? So maybe a way to protect your game saves as you load it up into the game that you're playing, switch out your batteries and then you save it again. God, I hope that works. So ASCII made a couple of variations of these for the Famicom alone. There were also versions for, I believe, the MSX and the other non-tape-based storage medium. The original version of the Castle, for instance, was on tape. And this is the sequel. The second variation of the TurboFile for the Famicom has 4 buttons on it. So there's 4 storage locations that you can use to load and save data, which you save a game and you overwrite it with a different game. I mean, that's it. It's like an amiibo. Hold on a second. There we go. So it's like that, except for, it's actually useful and stuff. How long has this been crooked? It's been bugging me. All right, well, enough talk. Let's plug this bad boy in and see it in action. Wait, hold on a second. I'm going to use the AV Famicom instead. It's just easier to hook up to my TV. All right, so we're all set to go here. Let's stick in Wizardry 2 to start with. Go in chronological order. There we go. Try that again. Sorry about the empty space here. I haven't been able to find the rails to stick the shelves in since I moved, and so I don't have any consoles like this on display anymore. Should I just fill the space? I'm usually not in these videos, so as you can see here, the light is on now that we had the power on to the console here. Welcome to the world of Wizardry. Legacy of Lilgammon? Lilgammon. It reminds me of Robert Llewellyn's name. Yeah, let's try select switch. So this game, you can set everything to English. It wasn't Japanese originally, There it says Eagle right there. Oh, that one stays there. So I think it remembered my setting because I just put this game in and it brought it up. So it's possible, right? Let's find out what happens. Oh, it's still in English. So I'm not going to actually play Wizardry, I'm sorry. I'm just going to go through and show you how the whole saving and loading thing works. So right there's a TurboFile setting. So we'll go to that. Move and legate character. So we can save data, load data, move and legate character. Legate. Siri, define legate. From Wolfram Alpha, a member of a legation. Siri, define legation. Circular definition. A permanent diplomatic mission headed by a minister. That's the second one. I don't think that's what either of those means. According to Google, it's a member of the clergy, especially a cardinal representing the Pope, a general or governor of an ancient Roman province, or other deputy. Well, if anyone knows what the heck that means, please tell me. Let's save. Seems fast and harmless enough. Now what? All right, load the game. Data on the cartridge will be overwritten. Sure. Seems fast enough. All right, exit TurboFile. That's Wizardry 2. Let's see what Wizardry 3 has to offer us. But the music's different. Okay, everything's in English still. I have no idea if the game remembers or anything like that. Do these have battery backup cartridges in them? Like, is it just compatible with the TurboFile? And man, I don't know. So it looks the same. Edge of town, TurboFile. Save in a TurboFile, load data, move character. They got rid of the legate, whatever. And exit TurboFile. So I want to see what happens when I try and load Wizardry 2 data into Wizardry 3. File not found. Okay, I actually kind of know what's going on here. I haven't read the specs. So when the data is saved, it stores some information about the game that it belongs to. And in this case, it can't find that tag on the gamer file. It can probably find the file, but it doesn't know what to do with it because it's not for the right game. And here I was hoping to see one of the first examples of cross-game save stuff, but what are you going to do? So now I'm going to try and put the protect switch on. See what happens if I try and save the game. Not connected, so it's on, it's powered, it's running, but it doesn't seem to think that it's there. So the protect switch probably just actually breaks the circuit somehow. So try and save again. Now it's overwritten. So that's why I got to be careful with this, because it's just going to pop whatever you have. Obviously, there's no way to know what data is on this, and it came without the batteries in it, so whatever had been on it in the past is gone forever now. So we can load again. Yep. Okay, so Castle Excellent. Well, we're going to need the second player controller here. Plug you in. And if you don't know why, that's kind of my fault. When we were doing the video for the data recorder, we didn't explain how you bring up the save menu in Castle Excellent. You need to go onto the second controller. Well, that was interesting. So you just hit A on the second controller. And that brings up your menu, so you can reset from here. Backload, save. So in the data recorder video, we show how this works with the data recorder. It very much sends data in this analog format. Basically, when you save any of these games, it will try and save. It's just spitting out its data. Oh, God. I gotta clean my cartridge. Plug you back in. Take two. So we know there's data on here. We tried to save data on here, and then we just go into load. Now it's just going to sit here forever. And this is the same behavior that the other Famicom Data Recorder games exhibited, is that it's waiting for some kind of input signal being, fed into the Famicom, not being, sent out and controlled and pulled back in, because the data recorder isn't controlled by the Famicom at all. It just talks to the keyboard, and the keyboard emits sound or takes it in and translates it for the Famicom to understand as game data. I had this run for like an hour to see what would go on. Here's what I think is happening. if you read any of those pages with the specs, and we'll put them in the show notes for this video. But that makes perfect sense to me if the way that Castle Excellent works is that it just saves data out to the data recorder through the keyboard, because it just pushes and passively listens when you go to this load menu. Whereas it seems from the way that these other games save, it's like instantaneous. Like it's digital. It's not trying to send out the sound file that this game does, which is why it took so long for it to save. And then the load command is actually trying to communicate with the device, get a response back. In here, there's no device to talk to. It doesn't know about the device to request any kind of response. So it's just waiting. I think whoever wrote the source guide either didn't know about the Famicom Data Recorder or didn't realize that there was only the one load method, really. There's no TurboFile icon on this cartridge like there are for every other ASCII game that supports it. So yeah, that's the TurboFile. I mean, I thought the data recorder was interesting enough in the different ways that Nintendo and now ASCII tried to handle off-cartridge saves, before the battery backup thing was really big. So I hope you learned something. I know we did. And our name dropping of the TurboFile in our data recorder video makes a little more sense now. Still loading.
Famicom Dojo.